Welcome to the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio. We've got a fast-paced hour of fishing, hunting, and conservation covering the nation and the Northwest, including 13 extra minutes of local content you'll only hear on Seattle's sports radio, KJR.
It's Saturday morning, and I'm glad you're here. It is August. It's definitely the height of summer, and we've got some great guests for you today. At the bottom of the hour, we'll be talking to Daniel St. Laurent with St. Laurent's Guide Service about fishing at Buoy 10. Yes, it is that time. And actually, Daniel's been fishing off the mouth, and he's going to tell you how he thinks things are going to be, and I'll give you a preview. He thinks things are going to be really good because they have been so far. You'll hear from Daniel at the bottom of the hour, and then we'll switch gears from salmon to trout. Specifically, trout you can catch in alpine lakes. You usually need to get a lure that'll cast a long ways to get at those fish. And Bob Loomis with Max Lure has got some suggestions for you. He'll tell you exactly what you may want to use for success at a hike-in lake near you at the end of our program today. This portion of the show is brought to you every week by your Puget Sound area Sportsman's Warehouse stores with locations in Federal Way, Puyallup, Everett, Silverdale, and Sequim. If you're going fishing, stop by your Sportsman's Warehouse store. And oh, by the way, they've got an ammunition sale going on, and it is not too early to stock up on ammo, especially shotgun ammo. We'll start things off with a fishing report from Pete Fisher at Mardon Resort, where the bass fishing has been excellent, especially for largemouth bass. Pete suggests fishing frogs early and late, and always have a Senko rig to follow up on missed fish. The bass are back in the sand dunes right now, but as the water continues to drop, they're starting to come out, and they'll be at what we call the face of the dunes, suspended over humps. The crankbait bite is also coming on. I can tell you that from personal experience. My best friend Rusty Johnson and I went out there, and we definitely hooked a bunch on crankbaits, and he actually caught and released a solid 5-pound largemouth. Pete reports walleye fishing has also improved this past week as they're moving from the weeds to the main channels into the face of those sand dunes. Try trolling a Max Lure slow death rig with a crawler at 0.8 to 1.2 miles per hour. Pete says bluegill, crappie, and big perch are starting to come out of the sand dunes as well, and in the humps in front of the dunes. Bottom line is this: it's a great time to go fishing at Potholes Reservoir. If you're looking for a place to stay, the website to go to, mardonresort.com. Heading down to the Columbia River, anglers fishing from both the bank and out of boats below Bonneville Dam to Cathlamet are picking up some steelhead and also some Chinook salmon. Heading out towards the Strait of Juan de Fuca, angler effort last weekend was pretty solid, and the fishing was pretty good, especially Marine Area 6, where 3 out of 4 anglers were coming back with Chinook salmon. Marine Area 5 is also fishing well, primarily for Chinook, but they're picking up a couple of coho there too. And heading over to Westport, fishing was very good the week of July 22nd through the 28th. Some 3,700 anglers landed almost 1,600 Chinook and 4,800 coho. That's an average of almost 2 salmon per angler. And the good news is we're only at 29% of the quota for Chinook and 40% of the quota for coho as of Sunday, July 28th. So there should be plenty of good fishing left for you in August out of Westport. Finally, the Washington Fish and Wildlife Commission will be meeting in Olympia at the Natural Resources Building Thursday, August 8th and Friday, August 9th, as well as Saturday the 10th. One thing that's going to be discussed is a draft conservation policy and best available science policy, along with current public input rules. Some of the commissioners appear to want to incorporate public input as a method of making decisions. So, in other words, if you have a few thousand animal rights activists comment on a policy against, we'll say, bear hunting or cougar hunting or delisting wolves, well, that's going to be worth a lot to those commissioners. They're going to say we're using the best available science because we're following social science. I hope this doesn't happen, but I am concerned it will. And if you want to speak out about this or other issues, you can certainly do so on Saturday morning when they're going to have public input. But you do need to register in advance if you choose to do this. And with that, you are now in the know about what's hot and what's not this week in the Pacific Northwest.
That's your first local shot of the outdoors. Now let's see what's going on across the nation.
A seafood bounty is waiting for you on Northwest Oregon's Tillamook Coast. Catch a limit of big salmon, haul up a pot of delicious crab, and dig up a bunch of clams for some hot chowder. Plan your visit today at tillamookcoast.com.
It's time for America Outdoors Radio, the show that covers the outdoor scene across the U.S. of A. and the entire continent. Fishing, hunting, conservation, outdoor recreation, and great destinations. We cover it all every week. It's your country, your outdoors. Let's explore it together with your host, John Kruse.
Welcome to the show. As you may recall, ICAST wrapped up in Orlando, Florida a couple of weeks ago, and we told you who some of the winners were last week on the show. Well, this week we're taking a deeper dive into the winners from ICAST, that huge trade show that's all about sport fishing. It's where manufacturers roll out new products for the year, and they're all hoping they'll get the award for whatever their category is, whether it's the best fly reel or the best fly rod combo or the best hard bait or best whatever other accessory there is. Now, I need to tell you something here. I have a little dog in the fight in terms of our interviewees today. I am part of the Select Angler program for Pure Fishing, and they own a number of different companies to include Shakespeare and Ugly Stik, Berkley, Hardy, and more. And we're going to be talking to some of the winners from Pure Fishing companies this week and about the awards they won. As a matter of fact, in just a minute, you're going to hear from Nathan Ragsdale. He's with Berkley, and their hard bait, which is actually a jerk bait called the Berkley Krej, won the best freshwater hard bait category. It's a really unique jerk bait, to be sure, and we'll tell you why it's unique and why it fishes so well, like I said, in just a minute. After we talk to Nathan, we're going to talk with Mike Welsh. He's with Ugly Stik, and the newly revised Ugly Stik G2X freshwater rod won the best freshwater rod category. And what's amazing about this is that this rod is not one of those rods that costs hundreds of dollars. It usually wins in this category. No, this one retails for around $50. Hard to believe. Mike will tell you more about the Ugly Stik GX2 in a few minutes, and then we're going to introduce you to Ben Joyce. He's with Penn, and they've been making some great level line reels for a long time, used by generations of saltwater anglers. Well, they also make an electric reel too, and they've got a brand new one that is cordless. Yes, it's powered by a lithium-ion battery. It's called a Penn Fathom. Looks very futuristic. And this one in the category of not only the best saltwater fishing reel, but the best product of the entire show. I can't wait for Ben to tell you more about the Penn Fathom. After that, we're going to talk to Jake Fishneck. He represents both Hardy, makers of fly fishing reels, and Shakespeare. And the Hardy Aveon was named the best in the fly fishing reel category, and an entry-level combo from Shakespeare, the Cedar Canyon fly combo, that comes with a rod, reel, even some flies, and fully rigged up with fly line. Also very affordable, won as the best fly rod reel combo. So lots of product reviews to be sure, but we're also going to check in with Joab Rolfe at Sportsman's Cove Lodge because they have upped the ante on their Sportsman Surge Showdown taking place in September. What was a $30,000 tournament has become a $100,000 tournament. That's right. Book a 4-day trip in September with your friends or a corporate group on a boat. Fish against 4 other boats, and if your boat catches the most fish as far as weight goes, your crew is going to win $25,000. And if your crew has the highest weight from the 3 trips involved, you'll get another $25,000. So just think about that. A vacation at an all-inclusive Alaskan lodge, that would be Sportsman's Cove Lodge in Southeast Alaska, and the chance to win $50,000, and that opportunity is just a month away. Joab will tell you more about it and give you more details towards the end of our program. We'll wrap things up with a whale of a tale that I think you'll be interested in. But before we get into all of that, let's start off with our first product review of the day that's a winner from ICAST. Next up on America Outdoors Radio, we bring you products that were winners at ICAST, the big sport fishing trade show in Orlando that just wrapped up a couple of weeks ago in July. With us here to tell you about a very, very unique lure that won the Showcase Award for the best freshwater hard bait is Nathan Ragsdale. He's a project manager with Berkley, and the lure that won it all was the Berkley Krej. Nathan, welcome to the show.
Hey, John. Thanks for having me.
So I've got to tell you, the Berkley Krej, this is a hard bait like no other bait I've seen before. It has a bill that's backwards instead of facing down like most other bills. This one actually faces up.
Yeah, and that's kind of where the name Krej came from. if you look at the letters, it's actually just jerk spelled backwards. So, after kind of designing and looking at the concept and coming up with a name, we just wanted to play right into, that super unique feature of the upturned bill and, derive the name from that.
This was developed specifically for anglers using forward-facing sonar. And folks, if you're not aware, forward-facing sonar is really taking the bass fishing, crappie fishing, and walleye fishing world by storm. And it allows you to see in real time exactly where the fish are and to see how they're reacting to your bait as you retrieve it. So let's go ahead and talk about how the Krej works.
Yeah, so, I'll kind of start with that point you brought up with forward-facing and how the bait's optimized for use case with forward-facing, although not limited to using with a forward-facing unit. When we set out to develop solves for anglers that are using forward-facing units, we're really focusing on angler control and optimizing strike zone opportunities. And so when it came to the Krej, we wanted something that you could identify your target, and with forward-facing, at least how things are playing out currently, a lot of the times it's with suspended fish scenarios. And what I mean by that is you may be viewing a bait ball with target fish around it, or it could be some sort of structure like a brush pile or rock pile where you have fish suspended around the structure. What the Krej does is it offers the angler a different biological approach in action that, you're sinking something down to them and then playing out a predator-prey scenario in which the predator typically tries to pin bait up towards the surface. So if you think about it, bait has, if they're in the middle of the water, they have up, down, left, right to flee. Well, a bass and other predators a lot of times will try to pin bait up towards the surface of the water to eliminate a plane of evasion. And that's really what the Krej is designed to imitate. And it sinks down and backwards to optimize time in the strike zone. And then as you work the bait, it works up towards the surface. Again, just playing out that predator-prey situation in which they're trying to eliminate a plane of evasion.
So, obviously you're going to get the action when you're reeling up. When it sinks, does it also have action with this upturned bill?
It does. It has kind of a shimmy. You see that trigger fish, bites on things like a stick bait in the soft plastic world, right? That shimmy. There's certain actions that we know trigger response from fish, and that was certainly baked into the Krej with that backward shimmy on the fall.
Sure, you had some of your pro staffers try this out. It didn't obviously just go from the lab to ICAST. What's been the early feedback?
It's been good. We've seen it, really excel in the post-spawn period here. So again, if you're on highland reservoirs where you have a lot of schooling fish, you're on a herring fishery where a lot of those fish are constantly feeding up, again, pushing bait towards the surface, more the clear water highland reservoir stuff. But, I can't wait to see this continue to play out. I've been really impressed with guys like Matt Steffen, for example, up in northern country where he's using this thing for smallmouth around holes in grass, just sinking it and then working it up over clumps of grass. It's just been really cool to see how everybody's applying it to their different regions and kind of niche styles of fishing.
Again, you mentioned this earlier. While this was developed with forward-facing sonar in mind, if you're a jerkbait fisherman, this is probably a tool you want in your toolbox, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, it's just a different, from a biological rooted understanding of what we want lures to imitate. Just like you could throw a traditional jerkbait out over a brush pile and catch those fish, the Krej is a different approach. It's a different way to target fish that have kind of always been there, but maybe are so pressured and used to seeing things that they're hard to catch these days.
Well, it sounds like a really special lure. I understand it's going to retail for $14.99, comes in several different colors. How big is it?
It's a size 100, which is really just based on 100 millimeters.
All right, so it's about 3.3 inches. And when is this going to be available for anglers to buy?
It is available now.
So look for it in all the usual suspect stores. That'd be Scheels, Sportsman's Warehouse, Cabela's, Bass Pro, and quality sporting goods stores all over America. It's the Krej. If you like fishing with jerkbaits or if you have forward-facing sonar, this is definitely a lure you're going to want to buy and start using. Nathan, thanks so much for sharing this with us today on America Outdoors Radio.
Thanks, John.
Planning a day at the range or plinking targets with your friends? Or maybe you're looking to do some small game hunting with a rimfire rifle. Either way, they're going to be impressed when you show up with a Henry Golden Boy lever action rifle. This beauty has a brass light finish, a wooden stock and grip, and a blued 20-inch octagon barrel that makes this rifle handle great, and it is accurate too, especially for offhand shooting. Want to up your Golden Boy rifle game? You can order a deluxe engraved edition or one with a personalized inscription. Like every rifle manufactured by Henry Repeating Arms, this has a lifetime guarantee. Find out more about the world-famous Golden Boy rifle and order a free catalog too at henryusa.com. That's henryusa.com for Henry Repeating Arms, made in America and a proud sponsor of America Outdoors Radio.
This is the time of year to get out and cook out. So make your next meal sizzle with Camp Chef, the brand known for quality outdoor cooking. From camp stoves to cast iron, from smokers to grills, Camp Chef will change the way you cook outdoors. To eat like a king on your next adventure, go to campchef.com or visit your local sporting goods store and get cooking. Whether you're serving breakfast in the backcountry or barbecue on the back patio, savor the simplicity with Camp Chef. Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
Are you looking to reel in the marketing opportunity of a lifetime? Then set the hook, because we've got it right here for you. America Outdoors Radio has sponsorships available, and we offer affordable platforms to reach thousands of listeners interested in fishing, hunting, and the outdoors. Find out more by contacting John Kruse through his website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. Hurry, though. If you wait too long, the big opportunity might get away.
Come to Mardon Resort in Eastern Washington, not just for the fishing, but for the family fun. Go swimming in the warm summer waters at Potholes Reservoir. Play a round of putt-putt golf on our new course. Fish off the docks at our marina, or get ice cream or a meal at the beach house. Bring your golf clubs too, and golf at nearby Frenchman Hills Legacy Golf Resort. Then settle in for the night in your cabin, cottage, RV, or tent site. Book your stay today at mardonresort.com.
Hot summer nights mean hot morning fishing for sockeye here in the Northwest, and Max Lure Company has got what you need to catch a limit with the Double D Dodger and two great sockeye rigs. The Double D Dodger has a unique fast, slow action and can be fished away from the boat without a side planer. The Cha-Cha Sockeye Rig and Double Whammy Sockeye Pro both feature a patented smile blade and two stout red hooks that won't let go of that salmon when it bites. Max Lure Company, getting you into the sockeye this summer.
Northwest Oregon's Tillamook Coast is not only the place to go for cheese and ice cream, but also for outdoors fun. Hook into a salmon in Tillamook Bay or one of the rivers flowing into it. Harvest tasty clams from our bays and pull up a crab arena or pot full of big Dungeness crab. Visit our parks, walk the beaches, explore our forests, and enjoy our coastal communities. You are going to love it here. Plan your trip today at tillamookcoast.com. That's tillamookcoast.com.
Sportsman's Warehouse is America's premier outfitter with the gear you need for fishing, hunting, camping, paddling, cooking, and just about anything else you can do in the woods or in the water. With over 125 stores across America, there is bound to be a Sportsman's Warehouse near you, with not only the gear you need, but also the experts to help you get the most out of the product you purchase. Head down to your local Sportsman's Warehouse today or shop online anytime at sportsmans.com. That's sportsmans.com.
You're back in with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Kruse. Yes, we've got some more winners from ICAST, this time in the fly fishing category. With us here to tell you more about the best fly fishing reel and the best fly fishing combo is Jake Fishnick. He is with Pure Fishing. Jake, welcome to the show.
Hi, John.
First things first, congratulations taking home 2 wins out of ICAST this year.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to make a trip up to the podium anytime you can.
Absolutely. So the Hardy Aveon fly reel took top honors for the best fly reel. And I got to tell you, looking at the photo of it, this is a beautiful fly reel.
Thank you. Yeah, we're real excited about the new Aveon series. It's our new freshwater performance reel series, and we cover the sizes, everything from little brook trout type of fly rods with our 3,000 size all the way up to big 14-foot spey rods. We've got the 9,000 size to fit that, and even a Euro nymphing specific reel. So we're very excited about the new Averon series.
Tell me a little bit about the Hardy brand. Where's the company located, and give me a little bit of its history.
Yeah, so Hardy is a 152-year-old fly fishing brand, originally founded in Ante, England. We're part of Pure Fishing, obviously. So our global headquarters are in Columbia, South Carolina, and we've got a whole team here in the U.S. that helps with, sales and marketing and everything else that goes with running a fly brand. But we've still got manufacturing. We've got a factory in Ante, England. Our product designer, our engineering team, all of those guys are still in England, still carrying the Hardy torch.
Let's talk a little bit about the construction and the key features of the Hardy Averon. Number one, this is not a plastic reel at all.
No, sir. This is CNC'd from solid aluminum. It's a 6061 aluminum, very durable, very lightweight. It's a beautiful reel with a lot of nice accents and a lot of attention to detail that you'd expect in a reel of $425 price point. And
let's talk about some of the key features of the Hardy Averon.
Yeah, I'll start actually with the frame design. The Averon replaces our Ultra Disc UDLA reel, which had sort of a unique split cage design. We've transitioned away from that with the Averon, and we've got a half frame design, more open. It's easier to change spools. If you've ever run into any issue with your tippet getting caught up inside the reel, it's just more convenient to deal with. We still do a cage design on the Euro reel and on the spey size, but the frame design is sort of our market improvement here over the Ultra Disc.
Sure.
From a drag standpoint, it's got a very similar stacked, multi-disc stacked rule-on disc drag that's super smooth. It's very low startup inertia. It's got about a 2.5 turn from 0 to max on the drag knob. So you can go from 0 to plenty of pressure really quickly, but we've still got very finite, quicker positions so that you can precisely adjust in very small increments the amount of drag pressure you're putting on a fish. So those are kind of some of the main features for the Averon series.
Well, it definitely sounds like the $425 investment is worth it. When is this going to become available and where?
Yeah, so we're going to start shipping September 1st. It'll be available in your local fly shop, and then, of course, from hardyfishing.com as well.
Okay, so hardyfishing.com or your local fly shop, look for the Hardy Averon. Now, let's go the other way. We're talking about something that costs several $100s here. But Shakespeare won the best fly combo for their Cedar Canyon fly combo. That's rod and reel combination with MSRP of anywhere between $65 to $70. That is something else.
Yeah, and it even comes with a small assortment of flies, too. The reel is spooled up with backing and fly line and a leader, so you can literally pick this combo up from your local shop and hit the water immediately afterwards with nothing else required on your part.
I see that it comes in a 5/6 weight and a 7/8 weight. I also see that this really appears geared towards the novice or first-time fly angler.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially at that type of price point, too. This is geared for somebody who is trying to try out fly fishing for the first time, maybe, or perhaps it's a youth angler that wants to, explore fly fishing. It's a pretty low cost option, a field that's really full of expensive fishing gear. But, it's the exact same team developing that $425 Hardy Averon reel that's developing the Cedar Canyon series of rods, reels, and combos. So you're really getting that expertise, but obviously we're targeting a different type of angler with this product, and the components are going to naturally follow that. But with the Cedar Canyon Carbon kit that won an award at ICAST, it's really high-quality stuff. If I compared this to the fly rod I learned how to fly fish with, I would have been blown away. It's a graphite carbon composite rod that's really lightweight, especially considering the cost. We do make it in the 8-foot length, and that's in large part due to the target consumer, right? So a kid is going to find an 8-foot rod a lot easier to learn, a lot easier to manage than a 9-foot rod. So that helps there. The action on this rod is also geared towards youth and people who are learning how to fly fish. It's going to be a softer action than you're going to find on, like, say, a Hardy fly rod, where anglers are maybe looking for a little bit faster recovery to help with line speed. That slower action really lets you feel the rod load and learn the proper casting stroke. And on that point, we actually also include some getting started instructions, including casting instructions on the back of the packaging on this combo. So like I said, it's something that's perfect for kids or people who are just starting out, and you pick this product up at your local store and you can go straight to the river or straight to the lake, wherever you want to go, and you're going to be all set up.
It also would be the perfect birthday gift for somebody who's maybe shown an interest into getting into fly fishing, or, the holidays, they're a ways off, but something to keep in mind for the holidays too. One other thing I thought I should mention here, yes, this was kind of designed for the new angler in mind, but I see the rod is a 4-piece carbon composite fly rod. So this actually makes it very attractive for the traveling angler to put literally in their suitcase, or if you're backpacking or you're hiking into a stream somewhere.
Yeah, it's super convenient. And again, that 8-foot length also translates into the smaller package when it's broken down into the 4-piece. So yeah, you can put it in a suitcase. A carry-on would fit this just fine. You can strap it to a backpack, do whatever you want with it, really, and go out there and start exploring fly fishing.
I love it. Again, it's the Cedar Canyon fly combo from Shakespeare, an affordable but winning fly combo. It's a Cedar Canyon carbon combo. Look for it starting in September at quality sporting goods stores near you. That's probably going to be all the big box stores that you're used to, and fly shops around the country as well. Jake, thanks so much for sharing this, and congratulations on the double win.
Thanks, John.
Sportsman's Cove Lodge has upped the ante for their Sportsman Surge Showdown coming up this September. 5 boatloads of fishermen will compete against each other to see who can catch the most fish in terms of weight during their 4-day trip. And the boat that does wins $25,000. Since there's only 5 boats per trip, your odds are pretty good. And if you land the biggest weight for all 3 trips, you win another $25,000. This is a great excuse to go fishing, whether you're with family, friends, or a corporate group. So, go fishing at Sportsman's Cove Lodge and participate in the Sportsman Surge Showdown this September. Find out more at alaskasbestlodge.com. That's alaskasbestlodge.com.
When you think of Work Sharp knife and tool sharpeners, you probably think of sharpeners for the shop or the field, but Work Sharp has a whole lineup of sharpeners for the kitchen, too. We're talking about everything from easy-to-use manual and electric knife sharpeners to ceramic honing rods, whetstones, and the new rolling knife sharpener, and innovative manual sharpeners that will do wonders for your cutlery. Make sure there's never a dull moment in your kitchen. Check out the entire product line and order today at WorkSharpTools.com. That's WorkSharpTools.com.
Ready for more local fishing and hunting? You got it. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, right here on Seattle's Sports Radio, KJR.
Up next, we've got Daniel St. Laurent on the line. He's the owner of St. Laurent's Guide Service. Usually operates out of Tillamook, Oregon, but right now he's fishing the mouth of the Columbia River. Daniel, welcome back to the show.
Hi there, how are you doing?
Doing good. Understand you've been out in the salt water off the mouth of the Columbia, and this is going to be a good prediction of what we're going to be looking at for the actual buoy 10 fishery that's going off now. How have things been?
The fishing off the mouth of the Columbia has been about as good as it humanly could get. I've been up here for the last 2 to 2.5 weeks fishing off the mouth of the Columbia in the ocean, and the coho fishing is nothing short of spectacular. We are getting some kings, but there are a pile of kings just north of us headed this way. It's kind of a mixed bag right now of about 60 to 70% coho and the rest kings. And we were getting done last week in about a half an hour to an hour and a half every day with 6 limits of fish.
Oh, my goodness. That's fantastic. And when we're talking limits of fish, we're talking 2 salmon per angler. Only one can be a king, but that sounds like some great fishing. Let's talk about how you're actually catching them. What are you doing? What are you having your clients do to get these fish in the boat?
We are mainly using Pro Trolls with a variety of spin fish and Brad super baits. That's kind of been the go-to thing over the last handful of years due to the fact that you have so many short bites and drive-bys where you don't have to worry about reeling in and putting new bait on. You're just continuing fishing, and most of the time a fish hits, and if you just leave it the pole holder within 30 seconds to a minute, you already have another one on.
Fantastic. What kind of scent do you like to use?
I'm mainly been packing the spinfish and super baits. I just pack it in canned tuna. These fish are not picky. They will eat just about anything out there, so it's not very picky fishing. Put a little tuna inside of them and just troll, and make sure you're trolling fast with that Pro Troll thumping.
You know, this is probably the most popular fishery of the year when it comes to salmon, the Buoy 10 fishery, running through August. Do you have any openings at all?
I have a handful of days with a few seats open, and then I have a handful of days where I will be doing afternoon trips, where I have a handful of completely open days for afternoon trips and a handful of days with just a handful of seats open for those.
Well, you can find Daniel St. Laurent on Facebook or go to his website at St. Laurent, that's Laurent, guideservice.com. That's stlaurent.com. I always mispronounce your name, Daniel. Forgive me for that. Stlaurent, guideservice.com. Go ahead and check it out. Book a trip with him today. The fishing's good, and it's just going to keep getting better. Thanks so much, Daniel.
Thank you very much.
And oh, by the way, if you're looking for a place to stay a little bit further down the coast, like near Tillamook, go to tillamookcoast.com. That's tillamookcoast.com. You're back in with America Outdoors Radio. We continue to bring you winning products from ICAST, a huge sport fishing trade show that takes place every year in Orlando, Florida. And this one is really a special one for a number of reasons. It's the best freshwater rod, and it was actually won by Ugly Stik. It's for their new reintroduced Ugly Stik G2X rod. With us here to tell you more is a product manager for Ugly Stik, Mike Welsh. Mike, welcome to the show.
I appreciate it, John. Thank you for having me.
You know, usually when it comes to ICAST, when it comes to the top rods, we're talking about rods that cost hundreds of dollars. The GX2 retails for $49.95. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before at ICAST.
It's never happened in my time, so this was an honor. This was a great win for Ugly Stik, for the brand, so definitely something that we're very proud of.
Anybody who's fished a Shakespeare Ugly Stik before knows how tough these rods are, and I've definitely fished my share. Matter of fact, quite a few charter boats actually use Ugly Stiks because they hold up so well for clients who don't know how to fish very well.
That's right, and that's what makes Ugly Stik such a well-known, well-rounded product. Speaking of GX2, it's not only used for light freshwater tackle, but also inshore, and people love it for their offshore tackle.
Yep, they absolutely do. Let's talk a little bit about the key features of the new reintroduced Ugly Stik GX2.
Yeah, so the new GX2 is actually packed with new features that make it a little bit tougher and stronger than the previous version. So some of the key features are the Ugly Tough guides. We honed onto the Ugly Tough guides. You know, we launched these about 10 years ago with the GX2 back then in 2014, and it's become a fan favorite amongst our users. They just love the Ugly Tough guide. So we wanted to see how we can improve them. And we did that by a new proprietary PVD coating, which is going to give you better line wear and better corrosion. So we just improved upon a guide that's already been tried and true out in the market.
I understand you've got a new handle on this one, too.
We do. This is a rubberized shrink tube EVA handle. So what this is going to offer is a better grip and added durability. So it's, again, just improving upon what's already been out there in the marketplace and just to make it a little bit more durable.
One thing that I wrestle with when it comes to fishing rods that makes me either love them or not love them so much is the reel seat, because some reel seats are really good and they're easy to work with and they hold in the reel tight. Other ones not so much. I understand that you made some improvements to the reel seat on the Ugly Stik GX2.
We did. We did a few iterations. I mean, this was 2 years in the making, but we went to an ID firm and really wanted to hone in on the ergonomics of the reel seat, and not only just for good hand feel, but increased sensitivity. And that's what this new reel seat is going to give the consumer.
Now, is the Ugly Stik rod, the GX2, is this a one-piece rod or a multi-piece rod?
So this is actually a wide assortment. It comes in 1-piece and 2-piece, both casting and spinning, and the range is from 4'6" ultralights up to 9 foot.
Oh, wow. Okay, so definitely a huge line of rods there. Now, again, the thing that's just amazing to me is you won the best freshwater rod with a rod that retails for less than $50. Here's the other thing that amazes me. You've got a 10-year warranty on the rod. What does the warranty cover?
It is. So the warranty is going to cover any manufacturer defects, any unforeseen breakage due to use. So I will tell you that this warranty, we bumped it from a 7-year to a 10-year because we believe in Ugly Stik. With these improvements and the innovation that we put behind it, we're adding durability, and we're just going to stand behind it, and we're going to increase that warranty again from a 7 to a 10-year.
My goodness. Even a 7-year warranty is amazing, but a 10-year warranty on a $50 rod, usually, folks, you're getting warranties like this on rods you're spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on. So you don't have to have an expensive rod to have a good one. And the Ugly Stik GX2 definitely proves that. After all, it took home the award for the best freshwater rod at ICAST this year. Is this available in stores now?
This will be available in September.
All right, so start looking
September
for it
this year
at all the big box stores like Cabela's and Bass Pro, Sportsman's Warehouse, Shields, and others across the nation in September. It's a great rod to have, and it's not going to break the bank, that's for sure. Anything else you want to add?
I would say that we do have a line of rods, and there's an excess of 50 SKUs in this lineup. And in the line of rods, we also have combos as well, from spinning combos, bait cast combos, spin cast combos, down to even youth combos. So it's a wide range, a big assortment.
Okay. And can folks find the assortment at purefishing.com?
They can go to uglystik.com and learn more about the new GX2.
All right. Uglystik.com. No C with that stick. It's ugly, S-T-I-K. Uglystik.com. Look for the new GX2 and get a few of them when they come out in September. You're going to love them.
That's right.
Mike, thanks so much for sharing this with us today on America Outdoors Radio.
John, thank you. It was good talking to you today.
Next up on America Outdoors Radio, we continue to tell you about some of the winning products from ICAST, the big trade show that took place in July in Orlando, Florida. And the item that won not only the Best Saltwater Fishing Reel Award, but also the Best New Product for the entire show comes out of Penn. It's the Penn Fathom Electric Saltwater Fishing Reel. With us here to tell you more about it is Senior Product Manager, Ben Joyce. Ben, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
This is a huge honor to get the best product of the entire show. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about electric reels? It's something we don't really use out here in the Pacific Northwest, but I understand it comes in very handy when you're fishing really deep waters in the Gulf or in the Atlantic.
Yep, absolutely. So basically, electric reels, particularly in the Southeast, have become extremely popular, not only with kite fishing, but also bottom fishing. Most of the time when I'm saying deep dropping, I'm talking about dropping anywhere from 3 to 10 pounds of lead, depending on the current, anywhere from 500 to 1,000 feet.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people say it, kind of takes the sport out of it and things like that. But it's one of those things you go and try and wind up, 8 pounds out of 700 feet of water, and it's something you only want to do once. Likewise, on the kite fishing side, a lot of times if you want to move spots and you want to get your kite in as fast as possible in the sail fishery, whether you're tournament fishing or just out there fun fishing, having a reel that you can power on and be able to walk away from and have the torque to be able to bring them in is something that is very desirable. So in our reel in particular, most of the reels that are out there, if not all, are corded from the factory. So they're pretty limited in the range of motion that you have with them. So ours being integrated with a lithium-ion battery pack allowed the angler to pick it up out of the rod holder, run around the boat, be able to have full flexibility on whatever they were looking to do.
Well, I've got to tell you, the reel looks very futuristic. I also noticed that it features a line counter, a digital line counter.
It does.
Can you actually stop it and treat it like a regular reel at some point or not?
You can. So I'll address the line counter portion on the first side. So a lot of reels that are on the market have basically a rev counter. So it counts how many revs or revolutions of the spool of line you have out. It's not indicative of the amount of feet. basically the more line that you have out, the smaller the arbor of the spool is. So it basically is just an indication of how much you still have out while you're retrieving it. So ours, you actually input the line diameter in millimeters, and then that informs the head unit how many revs it knows how much thinner that arbor is getting. So when you're bringing it in, it's extremely accurate on that.
This is revolutionary. I'll tell you what, I'm definitely getting to understand why you won the Best New Product Award. Now, let's talk about manipulating the reel by hand.
Yes. So by nature, the way that the mechanism works, you have the motor on the left side, and it actually has a shaft that runs over and spins the spool on the right side. And what we did is we took a traditional 2-speed lever drag reel and kept the low gear for the manual operation and remove the high gear so that when the motor is actually running, the handle can be free swinging and not impede any function of the reel. So by depressing the typical 2-speed button, it engages that secondary gear, and then it allows you to reel up. Where that generally comes most in handy is people drop to the very bottom, and then, and just so that you don't get tangled in the bottom or hung up, you can crank that 5 times, lift the bait a little bit up. Or if you're bringing the bait or the fish all the way to the surface and you just want to get a little bit more to get it to the boat, you can do that as well. So you have full functionality on that.
Last question for you. When is this reel going to be on the market?
So we are going to start shipping those in October of this year.
And I presume those will be at all the major sporting goods stores like Sportsman's Warehouse, Cabela's Bass Pro, and more?
We're going to have them in Bass Pro and a couple other key retailers, and then most of them are going to be driven through our direct dealer network. So you can find information on all of those right on pennfishing.com.
All right. Pennfishing.com is the website to go to find out more about the Penn Fathom Electric. Again, it's the best saltwater fishing reel, according to the folks at ICAST. And not only that, it's also the best new product that came out this year. Ben, thanks so much for sharing this with us today on America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Come explore the Dalles in Oregon for outdoors fun. Hike amongst the wildflowers, bike our riverfront trail, or visit the Gorge Discovery Center where you can enjoy a live raptor display, or even check out our National Neon Sign Museum. But don't forget the fishing. We've got salmon, steelhead, bass, walleye, and monster-sized sturgeon waiting just for you. When the day is done, tell those tall tales at one of our wineries, breweries, or restaurants and plan your next adventure. Find out more at explorethedalles.com.
Ready to step up to a quality-built rifle or shotgun that's a true classic? Check out Henry Repeating Arms, American-made. There's over 200 models to choose from in a variety of finishes and calibers for hunters and target shooters. Many of these are lever-action models with a look right out of the Old West. Don't be deceived, though. Henry Repeating Arms are modern, rugged, accurate, reliable, and have a lifetime guarantee. Find out more and order a free catalog today at henryusa.com. That's henryusa.com.
Sportsman's Cove Lodge has upped the ante for their Sportsman Surge Showdown coming up this September. 5 boatloads of fishermen will compete against each other to see who can catch the most fish in terms of weight during their 4-day trip. And the boat that does wins $25,000. Since there's only 5 boats per trip, your odds are pretty good. And if you land the biggest weight for all 3 trips, you win another $25,000. This is a great excuse to go fishing, whether you're with family, friends, or a corporate group. So, go fishing at Sportsman's Cove Lodge and participate in the Sportsman Surge Showdown this September. Find out more at alaskasbestlodge.com. That's alaskasbestlodge.com.
Are you looking to reel in the marketing opportunity of a lifetime? America Outdoors Radio has sponsorships available, and we offer affordable platforms to reach thousands of listeners. Find out more by contacting John Kruse through his website at americaoutdoorsradio.com.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Kruse. We've been talking a lot about big product wins at ICAST, but I want to tell you about something else, and that's the chance to go to Sportsman's Cove Lodge in Alaska and win up to $50,000. That's right. You and 5 of your friends can do exactly that in September. With us here to tell you more about the Sportsman Surge Showdown is Joab Rolfe with Sportsman's Cove Lodge. Joab, great to have you back on the air.
Great to be back, John. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, but I'm really excited to share the details about the Sportsman Surge because you've really upped the ante. Before, it was like $30,000 was the prize. Now, it's $25,000 per trip, and a grand prize winner gets an additional $25,000 on top of that. Tell us exactly how this all works.
So after the initial huge reaction from the surge on social media and our different publications, we decided to revisit the drawing board on what this tournament could do for not only our customer base, but also our broader company. And I think it's one of the most exciting developments from this company in the past 30 years. And there's a lot of things we could do around it, and it's going to be a lot of fun for our clients. So we thought, you know what, why not just up the ante? So now each trip, we got 3 different trips. You can compete for up to $25,000, and then we'll have an additional $25,000 grand prize across all days.
All right, so the dates available, folks, write this down. September 4th through the 9th, September 18th through the 13th. The final trip, the final derby, is September 12th through the 17th. So I understand this is kind of a team tournament. So your boat is fishing together, and whoever brings in the most weight during the trip wins the $25,000 prize for that trip. Is that right?
That is right. We're looking for not necessarily person-to-person competition, but boat-to-boat, and kind of get a couple of companies in the door as well as friends and family. And I think it's going to be a really cool environment for people who are competitive and want to have a great time.
Are we limited on what we're reeling in?
Yeah, so we're going to, the consideration for the $25,000 will be salmon, cod, and halibut, excluding gaff, and then it will be by total poundage by boat.
All right. And gaff fish, folks, those are the big ones that you have to pay like $500 for. So I think it's fair that's excluded because you're kind of buying your way into first place with a couple gaff fish. So I like the idea of just the most weight brought in. There's a little strategy here. I mean, you could decide to target salmon, and there's certainly some big salmon out there and a lot of them. We're talking about chums. We're talking about coho in particular. Or you can just say we're going to stay on the halibut grounds all day and haul in a whole bunch of cod and some halibut too.
Absolutely, yeah. There's definitely some strategy to it as well. I personally would probably jig bottom for quite a while, picking up quite a few cod. As you know, there's less restrictions, and then getting our halibut for the day.
Absolutely. And folks, the cod this year, as you heard on our past episode, they were plentiful. We had 230 cod days in our boat, and that's reeling a whole bunch of cod for fish and chips. And that's a great thing. Whether you win or lose, you still get to take all your fish home, don't you?
Oh, you do, and it's still great eating.
Here's another thing here. We're talking about a 5-day stay with 4 days of fishing, and again, you're fishing for your boat, so you definitely want to get your buddies or maybe your corporate team together for this. And it's $25,000 for the most fish weighed in for the trip, and the grand prize is that the most fish weighed in over all 3 trips?
Yeah, so that would be a single boat winner across those 3 dates.
Okay. There should be some sort of trophy involved, too. Is there going to be some sort of trophy?
You know, we're really racking our brains on what's exciting there. I'm not going to ruin the surprise for potential customers, but just know that we've got something really cool in mind for bragging rights back home with your buddies.
Okay, so again, folks, the dates for this, September 4th through the 9th, September 8th through the 13th, September 12th through the 17th. The cost per person is $7,000. So we're not doing the promo codes that we talked about earlier for these dates. So you can't use Radio 10 for these dates. You can for any other date outside of this and get 10% off your stay, but not this one. And that's because there's $50,000 on the line. And again, you got a 1 in 5 chance. There's only 5 boats fishing each trip. So you have a 1 in 5 chance of winning each trip. And if you win it all, you don't need a 10% promo code. You're going to be doing a lot better than that, right, Joab?
That's 100% right.
And is this still all-inclusive like the other trips?
Absolutely. This includes the guide, the boat, the fishing, the meals, the lodging, alcohol, you name it. We got it. And the only exclusions are customary gratuities and travel to Alaska. But it is all-inclusive.
Wow. And the alcohol's included. That is new.
That is new, yeah.
Well, that is a great deal, but folks, you're not going to want to drink too much if you want to compete because you're not going to be helping out your team, that's for sure. All right, again, one more time, the dates for the Sportsman's Surge Showdown. Trip number 1, September 4th through the 9th. Trip number 2, September 8th through the 13th. Trip number 3, September 12th through the 17th. The cost, $7,000 per person, but what's on the line? $50,000 for you and your buddies fishing out of a boat. How do they sign up, Joab?
Appreciate the time, John. We're very excited to put on this fantastic event for all your customers, and it's shaping up to be very big and exciting and quite popular, actually. So you will not want to miss on the chance to partake in this event. Book now at alaskasbestlodge.com.
That's alaskasbestlodge.com for Sportsman's Cove Lodge, alaskasbestlodge.com. Something brand new and exciting, and if you're competitive, this is for you. Again, alaskasbestlodge.com for the Sportsman's Surge Showdown coming up in just over a month. Joab, looking forward to hearing the results.
Appreciate it, John. Have a good day.
Do you love to fish? Do you love to eat fish? Well, if you do, you know how important it is to have something to keep things sharp. Now, in the boat, it might be something to keep your hook sharp, like maybe the pocket knife sharpener from Work Sharp, which also works just fine along with the guided field sharpener for keeping fillet knives sharp. So when it comes to cleaning those fish you catch for the day, you can get that done in a hurry. And let's not forget, back at the house, when you're preparing those fish for a meal, that's when you want to have a kitchen knife sharpener, and there's several electric ones available. You can find them all at worksharptools.com, which lists all sorts of both manual and electric sharpeners you can use in the kitchen, in the shop, or in the field. Sharp hooks and sharp knives make for a happy day on the water, so get your sharpener today at worksharptools.com or look for these products at quality sporting goods stores and hardware stores near you. Next on America Outdoors Radio, we've got a whale of a tale for you. And you've probably seen the video by now of a whale breaching out of the water and landing on a fishing boat and capsizing it. Well, here's the tale behind the video. From the Outdoor Wire, we learned that Greg Paquette and his friend Rylan Kenny were fishing on board their 23-foot Parker southeast of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, minding their business when a humpback whale up and jumped on top of their boat. It was no contest. The Parker boat, weighing about 2,750 pounds, less engine and gear, flipped like a rubber ducky. Rylan Kenny jumped from the boat into the 55-degree water, but Paquette, who had on a life jacket, was thrown, forcing him to swim before the boat fell on him. The boat completely capsized, but true to Parker advertising, stayed fully afloat. Fortunately for these two, there was a couple of teenage anglers fishing very close by, Colin and Wyatt Yeager, and they just happened to have their cell phones going when that whale breached and flipped over the neighboring fishing boat. The humpback whale, estimated to be an 80,000-pound creature, had no ill intentions, according to biologists. No, that humpback was intent on gulping down bait fish and came roaring from the deep to take a big scoop from the bait school and happened to breach exactly where the boat was positioned. The humpback in question had been observed feeding on Atlantic menhaden for several days in the area between Maine and New Hampshire, according to the Coast Guard. And also, according to the Coast Guard, the humpback whales survived its collision with no ill effects. As a matter of fact, according to nearby anglers, it kept feeding on menhaden in the area for several hours after the collision. The bottom line is this: if you boat where whales are likely, keep a sharp eye for encounters of the cetacean kind. Our thanks to Frank Sargent with the Outdoor Wire and Fishing Wire for sharing this story. It's time to start wrapping things up for this week, but if you didn't get a chance to hear the whole show, we'll have it uploaded as a podcast in a few days. Just look for America Outdoors Radio on your favorite platform. And you might also want to check out the Pacific Northwest edition of our show, which is podcast exclusively on YouTube on the Cove Sportsman's Network. Look for the Cove Sportsman's Network and listen to our extended 59-minute segment covering not just what you heard today, but also additional content from the Pacific Northwest. It all airs every Saturday morning from 7 to 8 a.m. on Seattle Sports Radio, KJR 93.3. On that note, it's time to go. Until next time, do stay healthy, take care, and remember this. It is your country and you're outdoors, so get out there and enjoy it. Sportsman's Cove Lodge has upped the ante for their Sportsman Surge Showdown coming up this September. 5 boatloads of fishermen will compete against each other to see who can catch the most fish in terms of weight during their 4-day trip. And the boat that does wins $25,000. Since there's only 5 boats per trip, your odds are pretty good. And if you land the biggest weight for all 3 trips, you win another $25,000. This is a great excuse to go fishing, whether you're with family, friends, or a corporate group. So, go fishing at Sportsman's Cove Lodge and participate in the Sportsman Surge Showdown this September. Find out more at alaskasbestlodge.com. That's alaskasbestlodge.com.
Backcountryhunters.org. Join the fight for our public lands and waters today.
That's the sound you hear when a fish hits the new Sonic Bait Fish from Max Lure Company. This metal lure can be cast, trolled, or jigged and will catch just about anything that swims in the sea, the river, or the lake. The Sonic Bait Fish has a unique vibration and flutter that can be rigged in 7 different ways. With all sorts of eye-catching colors and weights available, you'll be reaching for the Sonic Bait Fish as your go-to lure. It's the Sonic Bait Fish. Only from Max Lure Company.
Don't leave yet. We've got one more local shot of fishing and hunting to wrap up the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio.
It's that time again. It's time for another Max Minute, and it's also summertime, which means it's time to go hiking to an alpine lake and see if you can catch some trout, whether it be cutthroat or rainbow or brookies or even golden trout. With us here with some suggestions to help you with that is none other than Bob Loomis. Bob, welcome back.
Thank you, John.
So, Bob, let's say you're going to go hiking into the Cascades or maybe another mountain range and you want to catch some trout. You know you've got to get some distance from shore. So how do you go about catching these fish?
Well, John, you know, we've been able to add a few things to our arsenal where at one time most of our product line was built around trolling. You know, we've got a few products that work absolutely fantastic for trout during the summer. The first one is the Crip Lure. A Crip Lure is a 1/4 ounce lure that, when retrieved relatively fast, gives you an extremely erratic action. Got 24 different colors, a number of different body colors. There's a lot of different things that you can do with it. The second one is going to be the Promise Keeper.
Oh, yes.
Your favorite.
Yes, it is.
The Promise Keeper, you know, we've added to that arsenal over the years, and, you know, we've now got 24 different products in a 1/16, 1/8, and 1/4 ounce with the fish catching smile blade on top of it. So it's very unique as a spinner. And the third one is the Sonic Bait Fish. And the Sonic Bait Fish, you know, we have it from 1/16 all the way up to 1 ounce. But, you know, for trout fishing, it would be probably 1/16 up to 1/4 ounce is what I would utilize. But they work absolutely phenomenal for catching trout anywhere, whether it's high mountain lakes or in the streams.
All right. Well, there's 3 options for you if you're fishing from shore for trout, whether it's an alpine lake or just a regular lake or even a stream. Look for the Promise Keeper, the Sonic Bait Fish, and the Crip Lure at sporting goods stores near you or online anytime at maxlure.com.
That's all for this week, but don't worry. We'll do it all again next Saturday morning from 7 to 8, right here on Seattle's Sports Radio, KJR.